This is the Robinhood Cash Card. Let's unbox it and go over the features today so you know if it's worth getting or if you should skip it and get something else like the new Acorns debit card. Let's go. Very clashing shades of green here, Robinhood. My goodness. All right, let's open this puppy up. I do like this weird design that they do sometimes, where they just make a lot of stuff green. I think it looks nice. It's almost a shame to hide this away in your wallet. They're so cocky. Oh wow, that feels temporary. Feels so cheap and plastic. I mean, look how much that wobbles. That's wild. Check that out. Wah, wah, wah. It's rubbery almost. Man, that compared to the new Acorns debit card, it's not even a contest. The Acorns card must weigh 3 times as much and be 3 times as rigid. I mean, it is substantial. Or this Acorns debit card is like, I don't even know what to compare it to. It's like Laffy Taffy compared to the metal of this. This is tungsten. This is cheap plastic. But the green gradient leading into yellow is nice. It looks fine. Now let's open up the Robinhood app and get this thing activated. So all I did was go from the home screen here where you can see my $10,000 dividend portfolio. Go over here to the little money symbol, which is like the spending area. And then I can click on activate your card. Let's do that. Set your PIN. That's a secret. Do you guys use the same PIN for everything or different PINs? I'm not going to reveal what I do. It's a secret. Location protection. Protect your debit card with location protection. Will decline suspicious debit card transactions that happen far away from your phone's location. I don't know if that's a feature or a flaw. We'll turn it on. Your card is activated. No wallet, no problem. Your debit card is now ready for use. You can modify your security settings, your security features anytime from settings. I'll set up Apple Pay. Why not? Next, add the card, do the thing, do a little dance, activate a card, spend money with Robinhood. Agree to terms and conditions. We all just sit and agree to terms and conditions that we don't read. Probably not wise, but I don't know what I would gather from reading it. See, we've got a sloth, parrot, lemur, little poisonous frog. Pretty cool. Okay. So if we actually want to use this, we'll have to fund it with something. And all I have is $1.74 in my brokerage account, so that's not really enough to do anything with, but let's peel off this sticker. Nice. Now that we have it unboxed and in our little grubby fingers, let's compare the features of this card to the Acorns debit card and see which is the best investing-based debit card. They also claim that their debit card helps you invest as you spend your money, which are 2 totally different things. One is saving and one is spending, but okay. Acorns makes a similar claim, so maybe they can do it too. Like Acorns, Robinhood offers cash back at your favorite brands, and so I don't think Robinhood has any special name for that. Acorns calls that earn. And so whenever you spend money at their select retailers, you get between 1 and 10% cash back. The 10% is pretty rare though. And then of course, invest with every paycheck is an option. Automatically invest part of every paycheck in your choice of stocks and crypto. Get paid up to 2 days early with direct deposit. This is like line for line the same features so far. No hidden fees, no overdraft fees, no minimum balance required. Same as the Acorns card. You can send checks with it, just like the Acorns card. FDIC insurance, that makes sense. It should be there, just like the Acorns card. So when you're actually in the app looking at your account, there's some more specifics on those features. We can see things like which retailer gives us that little bonus for spending money there. For the first thing I see, that's not a bad thing. You get 2% back on gas and grocery purchases. That's not bad. Oh, it looks like you've got to unlock it with direct deposit. That's tricky. So it's not as simple as Acorns Earn that you just get. You have to unlock it by making sure you set up direct deposit. All of these debit cards, these new cards nowadays, really want you to use direct deposit. That's interesting. If anything, it makes me not want to do direct deposit, just to spite them. So to get access to this, you got to direct deposit at least $300 a month, and then you get cash back on up to $500 a month worth of purchases. So what is that, like $10? What's 2% of 500? Yeah, $10. And it can be combined with all other offers. So that's a fine offer. It's not great. Then it looks like a lot of these other companies that you can get offers from, as far as you spend money there, you get a percentage of cash back. They're like limited time offers, so they're going to change. Jamba Juice, 2%. Sweet Green, whatever that is, 2%. Mod Pizza, 1%. Sunoco, 2%. Allbirds, 5%. It's very similar to the Acorn situation, where there's a few very specific brands on here that if you happen to shop from, you might get some percentages back, but It's not a lot. Oh wow, they even have something called roundups. They're just unabashedly mimicking the Acorns card. Turn your spare change into investments with roundups. So if you buy a cup of coffee for $4.20, your automatic roundup is 80 cents. That is the literal copying of the Acorns setup. And this is actually like a really sweet little piece of UI right here. I love this little bit of design. You can see that green box at the bottom where it says debit card. If I start to swipe up on it, it just pulls the card up and gives like all of your information. If you want to see your card, you can, because maybe you're typing something in to like buy it online. I think that's really cool. And then they have this other feature that they didn't talk about before on the website called backup coverage. So backup coverage is interesting to me because it says you automatically cover purchases with brokerage cash when your spending balance is low. I like that kind of overflow, even though they say there's no overdraft fees. Typically, you want something like that to set it up. So just in case on accident, then you don't get any overdraft fees. But this way you can avoid declines for this card. So if you're buying something and it's like declined, that won't happen because it'll just pull cash from your investing account, as long as you have cash in your investing account, obviously. Then they'll remind you if you need to add more money, and you can turn it on or off whenever you want. So there's no like set limit on turning it on or off. I think that's a sweet little feature. I don't think it's a huge deal, but it's a nice little ad. And then let's look at the Robinhood Gold current offer and see if that has anything to do with the cash card as well. So for one thing, if you pay for Robinhood Gold, you get 5% APY on your cash. They don't specify here if that's specifically cash held in your investment account or if it's cash held like in the checking account that this debit card is tied to. I'm going to assume it's either way. Yeah, they don't say anything specific there. I would assume it's either place, but maybe that's wishful thinking. 5% on your cash is really good though. That's kind of the industry standard right now. That's the high end of what you can expect. That's very good. You also get a 3% IRA match, which I think is fascinating. That's kind of a different subject for a different day, but I think that's very appealing. And there's nothing else in here related to the debit card, but all that's just $5 a month. Technically, you get very similar features from the Acorns Visa card, also for at least $5 a month. Either the $5 per month or the $9 per month tier of this new Mighty Oak card gives you those same features. But does Acorns have any more features that the Robinhood card doesn't have? For one thing, the interest rate that you earn on your money with Acorns, as far as the cash that you have uninvested that's just sitting there in cash, the rate is a little bit less than with Robinhood, because on the checking side, you get 3%. On the emergency fund savings side, you get 5% with Acorns. And so what that means is that if you've got a bunch of cash sitting in checking and you want it to stay there in checking, you don't want it to be in a savings account, you're going to earn less money with the Acorns card. Then literally almost every single other feature is the same between this Acorns card and this Robinhood debit card. The only difference really is that you might win a $50,000 little bonus with the Acorns one, but only 7 people are getting that. So 7 people out of whatever, 500,000 users, those are pretty bad odds. Otherwise, the roundups are the same. The emergency fund feature isn't that big of a difference. I guess that really is the biggest difference. So if you want a dedicated savings account, that it's a separate account than your checking account, and you want it to be named emergency fund, and you want it to have a goal setting feature built into that, then the Acorns card is for sure better for you. If you're okay to designate that money differently on your own, maybe mentally you can know the first $5,000 in my checking account is my emergency fund, everything else above that is spendable, whatever, how you want to account your own money, that's fine. For me personally, my review of it is that either way is totally fine. The real difference in using these versus your probably traditional debit card that you already have is that you have to decide now to do more of your banking through an investment service. That's the weird switch. The competition between the two is pretty much neck and neck. There's not a big difference. The real choice that we have to make is to say, well, now I want to get my paycheck sent to Acorns or to Robinhood instead of my normal bank. I mean, they're really trying to get your banking transactions, your normal banking situation from the Wells Fargos and the Chases and the credit unions of the world and take that in themselves. And this isn't really anything new. There's a lot of financial services companies right now that are doing this. They're trying to absorb all of our direct deposits, get a hold of our cash, because if they have cash, they can do stuff with it to make money with it. So they're just trying to get some banking clients out of us. I still don't feel like any of these offers that I've seen with these investment account linked debit cards are like that appealing. I mean, it's fine. It's really not bad. If you're willing to change from your bank and just use your bank for other stuff, your normal bank, I mean, and you really like these services, I could see going there. If you're setting it up for the first time and you're like, this is my first checking account, I may as well go with one of these because I like them. By all means, do that. The annoying thing is that you've got to pay for them, which I guess the banks often have fees and things too, so you might have to pay for them. But I'm not blown away by the features of these, if that makes sense. I think if anything, they're on par or better than whatever you're going to find at your normal bank, especially because of the APY that you get to earn on your uninvested cash. That's probably the single biggest feature of these over a traditional bank debit card. But for that to really make a difference in your life, you got to be holding on to a significant amount of cash. So if you are holding on to a lot of cash, like some of my friends, Some of us millennials like to hold on to a lot of cash, $20, $30, $40,000, sometimes $120,000 in cash, rotting in your Wells Fargo checking and savings account. You know who you are. You've got to put the money somewhere that earns you at least 3% nowadays. Probably 5% is better, and you can do that with these kind of things pretty seamlessly. You can still use either of these like a normal debit card, and in the meantime, you're making 5% on your 100 grand that's just sitting there doing nothing. So if that's you or your parents and they have all this cash sitting there doing nothing, they've got to put it somewhere that at least earns them some money. I think those of you out there who know who you are could really benefit from this. The rest of us, it's totally fine. It's fun to get a new card. It's fun to judge these and see which one is best. It's fun to watch them race and kind of have like a neck and neck feature race to see who's going to roll out the better thing. That's all fun and dandy. It's not bad. But I'm not going to change from my current debit card situation. For one thing, I'm not changing because we don't really use a debit card that often. My wife and I both get our paychecks direct deposited into the same bank account. And then every once in a blue moon, we'll use a debit card. But by and large, we're using credit cards because we're all getting charged merchant fees anyway. And so I may as well be getting rewards from it. So just got this one. I'm going to buy part of my new truck using this card, get 75,000 bonus miles, and then hopefully next year go on a trip to drive the Nürburgring. If you know what the Nürburgring is, you just got really excited with me right there. If you're curious to know more about that process of me buying my truck, I actually have a second channel, and so I'll link that in the description so you can find it. I'm making automotive content now too. I'm buying a truck, I'm renting fun cars, doing car reviews on them. One of my lifelong dreams was to be an automotive journalist, and so trying to kind of act on that. I'm 36, it's not too late to act on your dreams, right? Let's go for them. Let's try and make this happen. And the democratization of publishing and having a voice online is a pretty tremendous thing. So I'm trying to take advantage of that. If you do go over there, please subscribe because I'm only like 100 subscribers away from getting monetized with YouTube. Then that becomes like a real legitimate thing. So please do that. Otherwise, the secret comment word for today, I think is an interesting one. What is your dream that you've never pursued, but you kind of want to pursue? Is it an occupational thing? Is it a vacation? Is it an experience? Is it doing something that costs a lot of money or costs no money? But frankly, you just haven't had the time or energy or gumption to pursue. Are you chasing any dreams, or do you have any unchased dreams that you could put in a comment below? Let me know. All right. See you guys later. Bye.